Welcome to another episode of the INH show, talking about geek culture, news and lifestyle. Today we're talking about Avengers 2. This is one that we've been looking forward to for a while.
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron. Now, by the time this goes out, I don't think our buddies in the US have seen it, so we'll keep it a bit spoiler-free, right?
We'll try, but I mean...
Well, we'll tell you when we get into it, because there are stuff we want to talk about, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, everything that's going to be spoiler-free to begin with... Well, let me rephrase that. Everything that's going to be spoilers is basically a no-brainer to me, anyways. You know what I mean?
There's a few things, but anyway, we'll get the spoiler-free version done with first. Before that, now, I saw it opening night, you saw it opening night as well.
Yes.
Not together, I mean, we didn't go together, I just want to make it clear that we didn't go together.
Why? What's wrong? Well, what if we did go together? It's okay, man. Hey, it's okay.
But I've seen it once. You've seen it. You saw it opening night, and you saw it the day after as well, right?
Yeah. So Thursday and Friday. So last night and the Thursday night.
And don't tell me you saw any of them in 3D.
I actually watched it last night in 3D.
Okay. Well, how does it compare? First, from
a 3D point of view.
From a visual point of view.
Yep. From a 3D point of view, I actually really enjoyed it in 3D. Surprisingly. I've said this before, I don't generally like to watch 3D movies unless it's an animation, like a 3D animation or a cartoon, because they pop out the cells really well, you can see the depth as well, or unless they film in 3D camera like Avatar, right?
Or Transformers 3.
Well, I'm never...
Anyway, yes.
But last night it was good, and I noticed the 3D in the first third of the movie, and then your eyes just adjust to it and you forget it's in 3D until you start thinking about it, and then the cells start to pop out again.
But you did see it once in non-3D, so I guess in a way you knew what to expect.
I knew what to expect, yeah. Yes, but look, I don't think you need to go watching it to watch the movie in 3D in any form whatsoever. So
you've seen it twice. You obviously recommend it. I recommend it as well. I'm pretty sure anyone watching this will have.
Yeah,
we'll know to watch it regardless of what we say.
I'm just gonna say that I actually enjoyed it the second time around. Better than the first time around.
Okay.
Only because, well, to a certain degree, I knew what to expect, and secondly, I'm not going out of my way to look out for anything instead. You know what I mean? Like, I can actually enjoy it for what it is, opposed to trying to take a look at camera angles and this and that and characters and what they're trying to say and all that sort of stuff.
Such an intellectual movie.
No. I'm just saying, like, you don't. Yeah. Anyways.
You enjoyed it the second time around, so it was worth the repeat viewing.
Absolutely worth the repeat viewing.
Well, we recommend it. If you haven't seen Avengers 2 Age of Ultron, we recommend you go watch it. Let's get a little bit more into it, however, because I just want to say straight up that this movie is a good movie, but it's not a great movie. What do you have to say to that?
I would call it a great movie, but I wouldn't say it's amazing.
I felt that Avengers 1 was amazing. When I walked out of the first Avengers... Yeah, when I walked out of the first Avengers, I thought this was incredible. It was paced really well. All the characters got their moment to shine. The action was so well done, and it was funny. It had, I was invested in the characters. I was very happy with the way it ended. Even with the stinger at the end, with the Thanos, I was like, well, there's more to come.
Yeah, right.
When I walked out of this movie, I felt, well, it's... I feel much the same way, but on a very much more diluted level.
I got it. So for me, quite similar to you, but personally for me, it's I find it on par with Avengers 1. So just as good. The difference is, and I'm going to ask this to you as well, could it be the fact that the wow factor is gone now? Is that what it is? Because the first Avengers, we've never seen anything like it in the sense of a great superhero movie.
It's an ensemble movie with all these
that was executed really damn well, right? Every character had its moment. It had the right timing for each and every character. It was spread throughout the whole movie really well.
Yeah.
So for me, when I came out of the first Avengers, I was like, whoa, that was perfect. And when I watched the second one, it's just as good for me, but it's not like... Wow, there's something even like new. You know what I mean?
I don't know whether I'd say that defines that as being on par. I think it was a step down below Avengers. To answer your question, to some degree, yes, the wow factor is gone. It could never really do the same thing that Avengers did, where it introduced this ensemble for the first time, and it reintroduced all of these characters.
Yeah.
It could never do that, and we are desensitized to it.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you're following Captain America 2 and you're following Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
So these are these two incredible movies as well. Okay.
Yep.
So it became a victim of its own hype.
Okay.
Once again, it's a good movie. It's not a great movie. And it just stuns me a little bit that we have friends, mutual friends, who have seen it several times. Yeah, I mean, within a short period of time, because we've got to remember this has only been out for less than a week as of this recording.
Let me just say, I understand the comparison that you're making with Cap 2, The Winter Soldier. For me, it's a different feel altogether.
Yeah, so because it's a science fiction movie versus
I cannot compare those two together.
They're three very different movies, but they're all under the same banner. They're using the same characters,
but you're not really comparing
universe.
But just because it's in the same sort of Marvel Studios created it doesn't mean that you can easily. Well, for me, I can't compare it because Cap 2 has a completely different feel. That being said, as well, I'm going to put out my hand to say I think Guardians is still probably my favorite, only because it's got that 80s feel to it, and I'm very biased to that. I am very biased to it. Not to sort of say in any way that I would say it's better and everyone needs to watch Guardians, and I think, you know what I mean?
We think everyone should watch Guardians.
Well, let me phrase it, yeah. Everyone should watch Guardians, but I think...
Not everyone might like it or...
I like Guardians better purely because it's got that 80s feel to it. That's the only reason, you know what I mean? So, yeah.
Well, go on. We're going to get more into the movie itself.
That's what I wanted to get into. What I felt about the movie, which, again, it's a good movie, it's on par with Avengers 1, but it almost felt like it had the exact same formula that the Avengers 1 had. There was nothing new about it. You're fighting, for example, a whole bunch of Ultrons, a whole bunch of Chitaris.
All the Marvel movies have that. I mean, even Thor 2 had that when they're fighting the Dark Elves.
The Dark Elves, right.
They all had that sort of...
They've used the same formula that they know that it works really well, and it does work really well, but it's just repetitive now.
That's one of the issues. It's like it's a diminishing returns almost.
Yeah,
you can't keep doing the same trick over and over again.
Obviously, we know that there needs to be a Hulk scene in it that destroys everything, just like in the Avengers. So again, Hulkbuster versus Hulk.
Well,
that was cool, but.
I kind of feel like these Avengers movies are almost Hulk movies by proxy, because we have a Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man movies. We don't have Hulk movies, and Joss Whedon clearly loves the Hulk because he gives him such good characterization.
We had a Hulk movie, The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, but we don't. But that's it. We've only had one Hulk movie.
Are you disregarding the Eric Bana one as well?
Well, I mean...
I am, because I hated that one.
It wasn't great. But
I hated it.
Different universe, so, I don't need to elaborate any more on that.
Okay.
But yes, the movie, I think it should be noted that to put these characters, so many big names in this movie, and give them all their moment to shine, I think is impressive, and it's tough, because if you're writing this movie, you have to accommodate the fans, the really diehard Marvel fans, and I think the diehard Marvel fans are really going to love this movie, right? Yeah, because they treat them with so much respect, the characters.
I agree.
But you've also got to take in mind maybe the teenagers that are going.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind maybe not everyone has seen the movies leading up to it.
Okay.
So I think it accomplishes quite a lot from that point of view.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there, I guess. I don't like agreeing with you. I don't like this. We're supposed
to be like, not right.
This is... I don't know.
Let's get to the characters, because you talked about, we can't spoil anything, but there is stuff that we can spoil. I mean, there are things that happen.
Well,
let's get into the new characters that we see. So first of all, we've got the twins, right?
Yep.
Wanda and Pietro.
Yep.
What did you think about the
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch?
Yeah, now we've seen a Quicksilver in X-Men Days of Future Past.
Yeah, that was one thing that I didn't think was executed well. So let me just say this. X-Men Days of Future Past, they did Pietro or Quicksilver in that movie really well. They executed real well. Like the kitchen scene where he's just like walking along and stuff.
Yeah. He had no character, barely any character, the guy himself.
Yeah, that's right. But they executed well to show his powers, right? Everything's like slowing down and he's just walking in, moving things around. And that was great. With this one here, what I sort of said to my housemate before we watched it was, I'm a bit worried about how they're going to execute this, because if it's all we see is him just going with streams, which is basically what we saw.
Yeah, that's basically what we
saw. It's boring. The only scene that I remember was there's one scene when they were in the town towards the end, the last third of the movie, where he runs through and smashes all the Ultrons and they just glide up in the air and slow down, and that's it. Besides from that, everything else is just like, they could have done a little bit more to show how, you know what I mean?
But yeah, I agree to some to some degree, but there's only so much they can do. They can't spotlight each character. Like they can't keep showing how incredible Hawkeye is at shooting things.
He was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, he was cool.
He was a really good character in this movie.
Although they almost went out of their way to say that he's the weakest one of the Avengers. Which is true. I mean,
but he did call it out because when he pulled Scarlet Witch aside, and he was like, you know.
Well, yeah,
and it was like, I'm the guy with the bow and the arrow.
That's the thing.
That was really cool.
Everyone gets their moment, which is fantastic. Now, what do you think about Aaron Taylor-Johnson? And even, I guess...
I don't know if I like his acting.
That Olsen... Well, both of them, they both had to put on an accent, right? And I felt that it was...
You didn't
a little bit up and down, you know? Well, it was a little up and down, especially Scarlet Witch. I thought hers was a little bit... She had to deliver quite a few lines, so...
Yeah, but she sounded the same in every line. Like,
well, I was gonna
her tone.
It was a bit unstable sometimes. Like, she couldn't keep her accent completely...
yeah.
It didn't destroy the movie, but I thought she was pretty cool. I mean, they were quite vague on her powers as well, you know.
Well, they didn't... okay.
She's weird.
Because Scarlet Witch, she basically bends reality.
Yeah, she's got some like hex magic or something.
Yeah, that's right. But for whatever reason, they don't execute it well. I mean, look, I'm assuming that the audience that they're aiming for is the wider audience of people who don't really... They're not comic nerds that have been reading books for like 20-odd years or whatever like that.
They can sort of see what she does. I mean, she can shoot, she can push things away, she can read minds, she can, you know, make people... So she has a lot of vague sort of powers in the context of the movie.
Yeah, but look, I think overall, it's me nitpicking, obviously, but I think they executed it well still. I do think they did it well. Could it have been better for the fanboys? Yeah. But I think for the target audience they're going for, it's probably the right move.
Well, here's something that's a bit of a spoiler here. Quicksilver, they killed him off.
Whoa, hey!
Well, you don't think they killed him off?
Yeah, they did, but I didn't think we were going to talk about that.
I just said spoiler alert.
Okay. You need to give more warning beforehand. But yeah, I was quite surprised. So through the movie, especially afterwards, I was trying to work out. Are they following... Well, they're obviously not following the standard Marvel universe. They are somewhat following the Ultimate universe. As in the Ultimates. Well, the costumes look the same. Captain America looks the same. He doesn't... No, he doesn't die. Okay. Scarlet Witch dies in the Ultimates. Okay, but that's in the Ultimates 3, I believe it was.
Oh, she gets assassinated, does she not?
Yeah, which was...
that was a long time ago, anyway.
That's when it went downhill, basically. Ultimates 3 onwards.
But did you care about
I felt bad, but I was very like, oh, he's dead.
Well, see, that's the problem. You can't build up the character, and you can't make it mean a whole lot.
Well, the thing is, they didn't build him up enough.
It's an ensemble movie that they really couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah, look, the Quicksilver character, I gotta say, out of all of them, I didn't care for him too much. If it was Hawkeye, I'd be pretty damn upset.
I was a bit worried about Hawkeye because, and again, this is another spoiler thing, you know, they give us a lot of his backstory.
Right.
And I thought, well, if anyone's gonna bite it in this movie, I thought it might be him, so...
Well, the thing is, remember in the Ultimates, and we're talking about
I don't remember any Ultimates, but go on, you're gonna educate me here.
So in the Ultimates... Black Widow is actually evil as a villain. She sleeps with Tony Stark.
That much I know, yeah.
Yeah, and then she kills Hawkeye's kids and wife.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I thought that they would have used that in this. That would have been crazy, right? That would have been a massive twist.
Yeah, but they wouldn't. I mean, I can see why they wouldn't do it. I mean, if you want to make a franchise out of Scarlett Johansson, you wouldn't do that.
True. Oh, speaking of Scarlett Johansson or Black Widow. This is, again, nitty-gritty, nitpicking. I didn't like the fact that her uniform had the blue.
Yeah, it's very Tron for the wrong reasons. It's
Tron! Yeah. Thank you! It is Tron! I thought they would have at least used red, because the Black Widow, black and red sort of theme. I was quite surprised. They used those blue highlights.
It was a bit jarring, I will say that. It was jarring. I don't see why they had to do it, because it never played a part in the story. What do you think about the special effects in the movie? That was one thing.
That was okay for me. I mean,
I thought it looked a little bit rubbery in some areas.
Really?
Scenes.
No, yeah, I thought it was fine.
The opening fight scene was a little bit too digital.
It was okay for me.
I mean, Captain America. When I watched that again, it's like everything looks realistic.
Okay. No, I thought the visuals were fine for me. I didn't have an issue with it. I could pick on it a little bit more if I wanted to, but you know what? We're watching a movie about superheroes and the Hulk running around and stuff like that. So I was just like, okay.
No, I'm just saying it looks a little bit, a little bit digital. That's what I'm saying.
No, I was okay with it. What did you think of the Vision? That's what I wanted to ask you.
Okay, well, so the Vision, I think this is done really well. The way they introduce it, the way they make him, and he's clearly playing a bigger part, which we'll get to at the end.
Yep.
With the mind gem.
Is it a mind gem that he has?
Isn't that what they alluded to in Loki's staff?
Is the mind gem? I don't know. I was trying to work out because the Marvel universe. Wait. The Marvel universe and the comic book universe, especially with the colors, they completely changed it all.
Yeah.
So
you knew that to get
but it sort of threw me off. So in my head, I was like, well, if they're going to completely change it, is it a mind gem? Is it a soul gem? Is it a what gem? You know what I mean? But you're probably right in saying it's a mind gem.
Well, anyway,
it makes perfect sense.
I thought the way they introduced it was great, and that's another praise that I want to give to Marvel is how they write these characters, and it makes it sound so
believable.
Well, not believable, but it's so organic the way they come up. It's not contrived in any way.
Yeah.
That's just the feeling I get from it. The Vision I think was pretty cool. Toward the end of the movie, it really looked like Paul Bettany in red face paint.
It did.
So that's a little
did
bit
it change a little bit or something there?
Well, they made him more human. They made him look a bit more human toward the end of the movie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And again, I mean, that's another character that they're kind of vague on what he can do as well.
Well, we know that he can shoot out of the Infinity Gem he's got in his forehead. They don't explain that he can phase, except for the one scene where they're flying and those Ultron robots.
Yeah, I mean, he sort of pops his hand through. Yeah, but that's...
They don't really explain to him what he does, though.
But it wouldn't... to me, it doesn't matter if he can or cannot phase through, because what about him in this movie suggests that he could do that, unless they develop another power later on, which they could do.
True.
Did you like the Vision?
I did. I actually really, really liked his character.
Really? Okay, yeah, I like this character.
I like the look of him as well, the updated look.
I think it looked a little bit busy for me.
Really?
I think there was too much going on. It was like it almost reminded me of the Superman costume, with the fine detailing and the collars,
Yes, it looks.
And he sort of just develops a cape out of.
That was pretty cool, though. He looked over and it's just like.
Yeah,
he looked like Thor, right?
Yeah, well, he looked around and he's getting, so he's learning.
That's cool.
I thought it was cool. I think the voice is great. I think it's the perfect voice for the Vision.
It's a Jarvis voice the whole time. Right?
Yeah, I think his delivery of I was born yesterday, and I think it was really good. And again, that's another thing. The tone of this movie was really good. Did you laugh in the movie?
I did multiple times. Yeah, multiple times.
It's more than I can say about Man of Steel. So
Man of Steel wasn't as bad as you guys are making it out to be.
Sorry, I just hope Batman vs Superman or Superman vs Batman will be a little bit.
Let's talk about that.
We'll get onto that later.
Episode. I'm just trying to think of what else I wanted to bring up. No, that's it from me. I overall enjoyed it. I really.
So you think it's on par with the first Avengers?
I do.
That surprised me a little bit.
The WoW. So just to summarize for me, the WoW factor is gone because I've already seen an Avengers movie on the big screen. They added new characters. Yeah. Do they look cool? Yeah, I think so.
I don't think they looked all that great. Scarlet Witch looked alright. I mean, she looks nothing. Quicksilver, I wasn't really fond of the way he looked.
Well, the character build-ups, I didn't have a lot of tie-in for them, but...
I'm just talking about the way they looked. I mean...
Look-wise, he didn't have a uniform or anything.
He had, was it Adidas or something? Is that
Adidas shoes, yeah.
Adidas Did you like that? You're a big sneaker fan.
I'm not an Adidas person. But yeah, he had the Adidas shoes, the white shoes, but yeah.
Well, to me, this movie, it's a very much a step down from the first Avengers. I mean, it could never captivate you the same way the first one did, but they followed the same blueprint. Yeah, they used mind control. They had to fight each other.
And then they went back to base, and then they worked shit out, and then...
Now, what about the stinger at the end? The mid-credits one? Because we don't have an end credit sequence as such.
There is none for this, right?
Maybe in the US there will be one.
Really?
Well, in Australia we didn't get one for the first Avengers movie. At least not for the first few weeks.
Right.
The shawarma scene. So we got Thanos.
True.
We got Thanos in the Infinity
Gauntlet. Yeah. It was expected. It was going to happen. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, oh, it's Thanos. And
this movie almost feels like a build up to the next.
And it absolutely is to a build up to the Infinity Wars. It is, absolutely.
So that's what, to me, it was a little bit of a letdown from that point of view. Again, maybe my expectations were too high. I had very high expectations for a Marvel movie. You're following in the footsteps of Captain America and Guardians of the Galaxy. Again, it's a good movie. I don't think it was a great movie.
It's a great movie. It's just not an awesome movie.
I give it a solid 7 out of 10. What do you give it?
7? What would you give Avengers 1?
9.5.
Whoa! 9.5?
Yep.
9.5?
We are only days away from watching the first watching Avengers 2. And when I walked out of the first Avengers, I was thinking about it for weeks, and I was thinking, oh, that was so cool at the end. You know, the scenes with Hulk, and then he catches Iron Man, and it was funny. You know, the first Avengers to me was almost perfect for a superhero movie and an ensemble movie. This one is like, well, I've seen everything already, and you know, you're clearly setting up for Infinity War.
Right. Well,
what do you give it out of 10?
I can't remember what I gave Avengers 1, but
well, you're gonna say it's on par. You're gonna say it's
exactly
the same.
But look, it wouldn't surprise me if I'm gonna say 8. 8 out of 10. Same as Avengers 1, 8 out of 10. Because and the only reason my thinking, my logical thinking behind it is because I would give Guardians a 9 out of 10. And I like Guardians because I'm biased to the 80s feel and theme. That's why. Right? So, yeah, that's what I would give it. If you guys out there really enjoyed Avengers 1, you guys will really enjoy this as well. Don't expect it to be a lot better. It's to me, like I said, on par, or in Ken's case, lower than on par.
But it's still a good movie. I still recommend you let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Leave us a message on Facebook or in the comments field below.
Yep.
Let us know if it captivated you and if you've seen it multiple times. We have friends who have seen it many, many times.
David, you're on 5 times at the moment?
Our buddy Rod's seen it 3 times in as many days, something like that.
It's a little bit crazy. But that's good. Alright, well anyways, thanks for watching guys, and I'm sure we'll catch you next time.